Hello, I'm Ina, and this is Know Thyself. Welcome or welcome back. So, as I'm recording this, I have a really nasty cold, so I'm hoping I have the strength to just power through it because I really want to get this out of the way and just talk about some of the decks I've been using for myself and for others so far in the month of October. So let's see how fast we can do this. I'm gonna try and set a record for myself. Let's see if we can get this under 50 minutes. I'll show some books as well. And yeah, so let's get into it. For clients, so for other people, I've been using these 3 decks. So I've just been using the Mountain Dream Tarot. And I don't know if I have much to say about it. Yeah, I don't know. I've just, it's a pretty good Rider-Waite-Smith clone. Let me see if I can find the card that sold me on this deck that made me want to get it in the first place. But yeah, sometimes I feel like it's quite, because it's in various forms of grayscale, I feel like sometimes it feels quite serious. I don't know if anyone else gets that impression with this deck. It feels quite somber sometimes. So, I mean, in that sense, I think it's actually quite fitting for this time of year. Autumn, winter. But yeah, it's given me some great readings. I love the 6 of Cups. It's so sweet. I did use this a lot when I was in hospital, but that was in September. But I brought this out for clients. Didn't use it for myself much. I love the aces in this deck. I really do, especially the Ace of Cups. And this 3 of Swords. Which, speaking of, oh no, we're not in 3 of Swords season anymore. I'm so behind on the deck and walk. We're on the 5 of Cups now. So let me see if I can find, anyway, I mean, I don't have much to say. You can probably tell. I mean, can you tell that I'm sick? Because, okay, here we go. This is the card that I saw on Meg's channel, Rose Honey Ritual, and this was the card that drove me to hunt down this deck and to get it for myself. But yeah, I just feel I don't bring it out for myself as much. I don't know, it's just, again, like any Rider-Waite-Smith clone, it's not one I'm gonna reach for unless I want to read for clients. You know, sometimes I do want a clear reading for myself. I just want something quite simple and effective and don't want to step out of my comfort zone too much, so I'll turn to a Rider-Waite-Smith. But otherwise, you know, I don't know, it is a really beautiful deck. What else? The other deck I use for clients, which I barely use for myself, is, I have it in this box. It's the Everyday Tarot. It's like one of those mini decks. I think this was the first deck I ever got. No, this was the first deck I ever got after I got my first Rider-Waite-Smith. So this was my second ever deck, and it's a Rider-Waite-Smith clone. And I got it because I was studying with Biddy Tarot, as I assume quite a lot of people have, at least at the beginning of their tarot journey. But I was really taken to this, you know, I'm not actually, I would say this is not my tarot aesthetic. I'm not into minimalist like really super minimalist design, vector art. But I don't know, I'm still, this was in purgatory for a while because I couldn't make up my mind. Because since I didn't use it to read for myself anymore, I wasn't sure if I still needed it in my collection, but it works well as a deck for clients because it's very small, so I can do like tableaus with it. I like mini decks for that reason. I can like pull more cards and have them fit on the screen. So I do video recordings and it's important that I can get all the cards in frame. So if I do like a 9-card spread, this deck comes in really handy. But it is beautiful. I do love the mat. I mean, for what it costs, it's great value. It's like really, really dirt cheap. And the matte cardstock it's kind of sticky. It was really sticky at the beginning, because it does kind of have that, I guess, I wouldn't maybe call this rose petal finish, but it has a similar kind of finish, and it was very sticky for a while. But this deck pulls no punches, I will say. It really is. It always gives, like, for me, this is the Rider-Waite-Smith that gives me the most accurate readings. And I don't know what it is, if it's just something about how long I don't know if it's like an energetic thing or how long I've had it, but it always seems to be right on. I don't know. It always seems to be like the most accurate deck in my collection. You know, and it's quite efficient. It's like, it's not wordy like some other decks where, you know, you can probably get more out of them, but this one cuts straight to the heart of the matter. And yeah, I guess it's because of the High Priestess. I mean, the High Priestess stalks me, but I have been pulling the High Priestess every single time I shuffle any, like, literally any one of my decks. That is interesting to say the least, because I was already very bonded to that card, and I would pull it a lot. But recently, in like the past few weeks, maybe especially the past few days, I've been pulling it every single time. So there's definitely something in there for me. I don't know, I love this star card. But yeah, really not my aesthetic, but I keep it for client readings, works great. No bullshit. Doesn't beat around the bush. It's just a Rider-Waite-Smith clone. But yeah. And again, I'm not really crazy about gilding, but the gilding on this isn't obnoxious. It's matte. So for what it's worth, like, this is a great beginner deck. Like, even as if you don't have any decks at all, get this one, because it doesn't have any kind of esoteric layering on it. It's just very clean, simple lines, and it gets to the heart of the meaning. It's iconic. It's iconic, and you know, in that sense that it's like just very, very, very easy to read. Yeah, but I don't use this for myself. I use this for other people. So that's what I've been using for other people mostly. And also the Energy Archaeology, I intended to use it a lot more than I have. I wanted to pull a card each day, but I haven't really been doing that. To be fair, I haven't really been keeping up with my tarot practice that regularly this month. I've been kind of inconsistent about it. I've been reading a lot for other people, but I haven't been reading much for myself or journaling much, or really journaling at all. But yeah, this is perfect deck for this time of year, don't you think? And oh, it's given some really, really great like complimentary messages to my client readings. It pairs well with any deck, really. And again, I'm studying the guidebook because I really do want to tap into like the elemental energies of each of these parts of the body. I really want to deep dive into that, so I'm gonna really, really strive to stick to that for the rest of October, because I really want to learn this deck inside out. I don't just want to read it on a superficial level, right? So, what's the energy archaeology? I love this. Okay. And what else? I think I've already spent like 10 minutes, and I'm not even halfway through all the decks I need to show, but I also bought this deck out of Purgatory. I haven't used it much yet, but this is the Housewives Tarot. This had been in my Purgatory box for the longest time, and I've decided I like it again. So yeah, just like that. I wasn't sure about it, but this deck is very chatty. I get a lot of jumper cards, and I'm not sure why. I don't shuffle it in differently than I do any other deck, but maybe it's the cardstock. I just get more not like this, but yeah, I don't know what's like, I don't know. I think this video we're not off to a great start because I'm not really being very don't think I'm providing some very interesting insight into any of these decks so far. But yeah, this had been in my Purgatory for the longest time. I just wasn't sure. I kept going back and forwards with this one, and I've decided I like it again in a kind of like Norman Rockwell kind of way. It does only feature white people, which bothers me. I mean, we can get real for a second here and talk about segregation in America, but so that's why I appreciate vintage decks that do show a variety of people. This card is kind of funny, but it's also kind of triggering to me. So, but anyway, I decided I like it again. It does have that issue, which I'm cognizant of. I'm unconscious of it. Doesn't really put this deck in a good position with me, but I do like it enough to keep it. It's quirky, it's fun, so yeah. So, oh yeah, of course, I was gonna, in the last at present, I was gonna mention the Hayworth Tarot. This doesn't get enough love. I have seen it on TarotTube, but I got this as a present, as a birthday present from my girlfriend last year. I wanted this for the longest time, and yeah, if you're familiar with the podcast this is based on, it does have some references to that. They're not overly direct references, so it's not like you can't use this deck if you haven't it's not like it's inaccessible if you haven't listened to the podcast. It really is. I just really like this for shadow readings, or just getting a different spin on the Rider-Waite-Smith. I really, really, really like this deck, and I don't bring it out much, but I do bring it out around this time of year. But I am thinking I should bring it out more, honestly. I shouldn't just... Oh, I love this Hierophant. But I shouldn't just make it turn it into a Halloween deck. I really feel like I should bring this out more because I really like the messages it gives. Yeah, I really do love this deck. So yeah, it's a weird deck. It's shadowy for sure. The art is beautiful. Like, maybe I say that as the Four of Cups, which is maybe my least favorite card in this deck appears, but the art is beautiful. Oh, I love this Queen of Wands and this Nine of Swords so much. But yeah, so I've been using this. I used it for a client actually, but I have been pulling it mostly for myself. So this was the Hayworth Tarot. I did say I was gonna share this one. And yeah, it's perfect for this time of year, what can I say? But again, I don't want to just reduce it to that. Like, I don't want it to be defined. I don't want to define it as a Halloween deck. I don't want it to just be a Halloween deck. Okay, I think I've already said that, like, I'm just repeating myself. I've been using this as well. This is I use them as separate oracles, so this is the Literary Witches oracle, but there's like two sections to it, so there's the authors, and then with keywords, and then there's like these witchy symbols that if I understand it correctly, most of these correspond to the authors, so each author has like maybe like a couple of symbols that relates to their work. I really like that, so I maybe should use it in conjunction with the other section, but I like using it as a kind of, I don't have many oracle decks that are like this, or I don't know, any really, that feel kind of like Lenormand-like, but aren't Lenormand. They're just kind of like symbols that you can, I mean, the guidebook does give some kind of like predictive meanings for them, but I like just kind of projecting what I feel is like, I like using these as kind of like ink blots, you know? I look at these and I just, whatever's going through my mind, however I relate to this symbol in that moment, that's how I get my message. So yeah, yeah, ink blots is a great way of describing it, actually. I just like, I like the open, I mean, I am not a fan, honestly, personally, I'm not a fan of decks that just have a keyword, and then usually I'm not a fan of those, because then you kind of have to dive into the guidebook, but like, dive into the guidebook just to use the deck every time. Guidebooks aren't an issue for me, like, I don't mind using the guidebook, I just don't want to have to rely on it. But in this case, I think it's the art style, the kind of the way it's just very pared down, the simplicity of it, the way that the symbols, I think the symbols that were picked maybe just give a lot of flexibility. They give a lot of room for like room to think, room for interpretation, whereas I think decks like, for example, animal decks that just have like the animal's name, I've seen a lot of those, and those do nothing for me, like nothing. I don't know, this is a great Halloween deck. But yeah, so that's the Literary Witches. What else? Oh yeah, I got the, okay, well, I've also been using the Secret Dakini. I don't think I need to bring, do I need to show it? Okay, I'll show it quickly. Not much, but oh yeah, okay, that does remind me. I mean, I had a lot of plans for October, okay? I was very ambitious, and I haven't maybe because I was too ambitious, I haven't really I haven't accomplished any of the things I set out to do this month. Like, at all. So yeah, maybe I just need to simplify a bit. But so this deck, I was thinking, decided that I would use it with this book that I got. It's in Spanish, but I wish this did come in these little pocket books. These editions came in other languages. I think they come in French as well, but I haven't seen them in any other languages. So it's called Hymns to the Goddess, and these are specifically, so they're all like Devis or Mahadevis. I don't know what else to say. It's in Spanish, but it does use Hindu terms and explain them as well, which is good. But yeah, these are hymns, that gorgeous hymns to different aspects of like I guess Shakti, like the goddess, Hindu goddess energy, for example. And then we have some illustrations here with Durga, and these are really beautiful. So my plan was to, because this deck is based on, oh, perfect card, this revolves around the Dakini. I thought it'd be perfect to use this alongside this book and recite some of the hymns to just connect with these aspects of goddess, Kali. What else? There was some really I love this. Tara. What was the other one? Saraswati. Sorry. As you may know, my pronunciation is not my it's not my strong point. But yeah, it does have a lot of footnotes and stuff, so it explains Ganga. Explains all the terminologies, and this I did think was a really good kind of like sort of religious text that I could use to connect with these energies, and I could use the Dakini alongside it. I thought that I would get better use out of the Dakini in that way. I don't know. I do feel like a lot is lost if you just read this as if you look at it with a Western perspective. If you look at it from a Western perspective, I feel like a lot is lost. A lot is lost in translation. I mean, this deck was made from a Western perspective of Tantra. So it already has a degree of separation from actual tantric traditions. But I want to be able to, High Priestess Isis, I got this earlier. Again, stalking me. She's stalking me. I get it. You're obsessed. No, but I love this text so much. And now that I trimmed the borders and I'm not even mad about it. But yeah, I feel like so much is lost by not connecting with this in the way that maybe it's meant to be connected with. So I feel like, because I'll get to use this in my tarot throwback, that's when I'll get to really use this combo. So the hymns and the Dakini. Yeah, I'm actually really happy about that. Yeah, I think I'll do that. So I'll dedicate myself to that in the month of November, since I'll be able to use this deck in the throwback. And yeah, that's that. Oh, I haven't been using my Dark Fairy Tale Tarot. I don't think I need to bring that one out, but I need to use this one more. Yeah, I don't have much to say on that. Because I haven't used it, I don't really have much to say, but Oh, finally got the Fallen Angels. Really been enjoying this alongside the guidebook, studying these beings. Yeah, I really want to use it with the guidebook for the time being because I really want to do a study of these energies. And I did actually do not because I'm superstitious or anything, but I just felt really compelled to, and I came up with a ritual very spontaneously on the spot, and it worked out beautifully. But I did bind this deck, just in case. I did bind the energies of this deck to me, and I didn't do a whole like Solomonic kind of ritual thing, but I did use some kind of angelic aid to help me bind this deck so that it works with me, it collaborates with me, because I don't know why I was afraid that it wouldn't, or that it'd be kind of trickstery, you know? It's like kind of like a Fae deck. So I just wanted it to not, yeah. Sounds kind of bad to like make the demons work for you, but you know, I think you just have to set certain boundaries. It's just boundary setting. And yeah, giving them a job to do. That was more my intention with the ritual, to like bind them and tell them what they have to do. So they don't go all like, they all have their own agency, right? And I respect that. But I don't want them going off and doing their own thing. So I want to use this especially for predictive readings. So again, the guidebook is going to come in really handy. It's really, really good, the guidebook. I didn't think I'd like this kind of like photographic collage, but I love it. And it's perfect. I mean, isn't this perfect for this time of year? Not just thematically, but visually as well. I love it. So yeah, it's interesting to compare Fallen Angels to Fae, but the book itself makes that comparison. So I thought that was interesting in terms of like their motivations, their agency, their kind of like neutrality, neutral framework of ethics, morals, whatever you want to call it, kind of aligns more with the Fae. Fae energy isn't something I've worked with. I love fairies. I love, you know, I love Victorian fairies. I have so many fairy books. I grew up loving fairies, but I've never worked with Fae energy because I want to be very careful and conscious when I approach Fae energy, and I don't just want to kind of rush into it. So I haven't worked with Fae energy yet. When I do, I'll let you know. But it's interesting that I don't work with Fae energy, but I've gone for demons. I've gone for demons, but yeah, I don't know. Somehow the demons scare me less than the Fae do. And I got this really nice little knitted pouch for my Jonasa Jaus. So I've been not using this one as much as I would have liked, but to be fair, I don't bring this one out a lot either. I think I'm kind of precious about it. I think that might be the problem, and I don't want to be precious about my decks. I want to use them. Although I get, this is very Game of Thronesy, but I get that each deck has a time and a place, so I'm trying not to be too hard on myself about not bringing this one out more, but I think the size is kind of problematic as well. I mean, I do like it. I got it because of the shape. I got this specific edition because I loved the shape, but it is tricky. Does make it trickier to handle. It's very, very pippish. Like, it's a little... You kind of have to really make it work for you. Like, not just because it's pippish, but because it's like a very somber, kind of moody, silent type. The moody, silent type that we all love. And yeah, but I don't know, it is very, very... It doesn't give you a lot to work with. It's very pretty, but you kind of have to really do apply numerology here, as you would with a Marseille. Because the images themselves, at least to me, they don't speak much. They don't say much to me. So I really have to apply like how I would read a Marseille deck to this deck in particular. Because even with some pip decks, I still get more information than I maybe do with this one. But yeah, Jonasa Jaus. Okay. I only have 2 decks. I have 2 more decks and a book that I want to talk about. I want to end off this video with. So you probably saw me use this deck in my last video if you watched it. If not, I'll put a thingy. I'll put a card up there so that you can go watch it. But I used it for the murder mystery, but I use this deck a lot all year round, really. Still, I get that it's more of a shadowy deck. Oh, this is so beautiful. I get so much from it. I don't know, I've been getting this a lot, and it's interesting because I'm starting to work with Hecate's energy, so it's interesting when that pops up. It's so beautiful. I just get so much, like, I don't know, there's just so much to look at least for me. This is like, I have the mystical moments, but it's in purgatory, so I'm actually, well, not in purgatory, I'm planning to get rid of it. Like, I'm planning to pass it on. So this is what mystical moments, I wish mystical moments did for me. It did do it for me for a while, and then it just got stale really quickly. And this is what I wish the mystical moments would do for me. So luckily I have this deck, which is like, if the mystical moments, the analogy that I kind of pair them as like sister decks, because I see the mystical moments as like dawn, and I see this deck as dusk. So like dawn and dusk, I see them as kind of complementary energies, but this is a slightly more like twilight kind of, you know, night energy. But I just get so much from it, and each time I look at, it's like there's so much to explore that each time I look at it, there's more. I discover new things. I get to expand my understanding of the cards, of the card meanings, by really delving into the imagery of this deck. I get different interpretations. I really love it, and that's why this is a deck that I never really fully put away, but I am using it a lot more because of spooky season. So yeah. There he is. The killer. Oh wait. Never mind. There he is. I love this Empress, but anyway. Then last deck I have for you. I haven't really been using it. The intention is there, okay? That's what matters. The intention is there. I have it out. on my table. I want to collect these actually. I want to collect the full set. It's the transformation playing cards from Cotta's Almanac, first published in 1806. This is a facsimile, a reproduction, and they're on linen cardstock and just it makes them very slippery, but they're so beautiful. These cards are so beautiful. I just bring them out to look at them. I don't read playing cards. I get how to read playing cards. Like, I get in theory how I could read with them, but I really want to study it. I really want to study playing card divination. Like, I want to devote myself to it next year, so this deck will come in handy for that. But it's also interesting because it'll give me, I have more to work with because of the illustrations that might also veer in other directions. Like, they might take my mind into other places. So it's not like with the playing card deck where you just have the pips and you just kind of memorize the meanings by rote. In this case, we actually have like the illustrations that incorporated into the pips, or the pips incorporated into illustrations rather. So that, I mean, this is the 5 of spades, so the 5 of swords. I don't know, I kind of do see some 5 of swords energy in this. I really love this. But it's very witchy, this deck. It feels very witchy. I want to use it more, but again, I don't know how to use it. Oh, okay, wait. This is one of my favorite cards in the deck. As I say, it's witchy. This. I should just make this the thumbnail. But, yeah. Okay, so that concluded. God, I don't know how long I've been going on for. Again, I'm gonna have to cut this down. Like, yeah. So the last treat, the last thing I wanna show or talk about. Okay, I keep destabilizing my tripod. I bought an anthology of Louise Gluck's poems, so it's a complete, very comprehensive collection of her poems. So I'm gonna go get that. This will be instantaneous with the magic of editing. Okay, I'm back, just like that. So, complete poems, all poems from 1962 to 2020. So it's a chunker. I've been treating this like my Bible. Honestly, it's my new Bible. It's a religious text for me. Yeah, and what can I say about it? I don't think I can find the words to really describe what Louise evokes in me with her words. Wow, can you tell I write? Can you tell that I'm a poet? I don't have words to describe it, but I feel like when you're faced with poetry, it's very hard to describe it in words that are, you know, words beyond the words that have already been put on the page, right? You just take the poem as it is. So, like, what more can I say about a poem or a poet's body of work than, you know, what's already out there, what's already there. Just reading the poetry is, yeah. And I set aside one of my favorite poems. Actually, maybe I'll read 2. Okay, I'll read 2. 2 of my favorites. There's a lot there's a lot to get through, so I might find new favorites, but some of my favorites so far are There are many, but I wanted to read these two before I close off. So this one's called Mutable Earth. Okay, trying to get into my poetry reading voice. Okay, Mutable Earth. Are you healed, or do you only think you're healed? I told myself, from nothing, nothing could be taken away. But can you love anyone yet? When I feel safe, I can love. But will you touch anyone? I told myself, if I had nothing, the world couldn't touch me. In the bathtub, I examined my body. We're supposed to do that. And your face too? Your face in the mirror? I was vigilant. When I touched myself, I didn't feel anything. Were you safe then? I was never safe, even when I was most hidden. Even then, I was waiting. So you couldn't protect yourself. The absolute erodes. The boundary, the wall, around the self erodes. If I was waiting, I had been invaded by time. But do you think you're free? I think I recognize the patterns of my nature. But do you think you're free? I had nothing, and I was still changed. Like a costume, my numbness was taken away. Then, hunger was added. Ugh. So that's the first pick. That's my first pick. Oh, okay. And my second pick to end off this video is called The Queen of Carthage. Brutal to love, more brutal to die, and brutal beyond the reaches of justice to die of love. In the end, Dido summoned her ladies in waiting, that they might see the harsh destiny inscribed for her by the fates. She said, Aeneas came to me over the shimmering water. I asked the fates to permit him to return my passion, even for a short time. What difference between that and a lifetime? In truth, in such moments, they are the same. They are both eternity. I was given a great gift, which I attempted to increase, to prolong. Aeneas came to me over the water. The beginning blinded me. Now the Queen of Carthage will accept suffering as she accepted favor. To be noticed by the fates is some distinction, after all. Or should one say, to have honored hunger, since the fates go by that name also. And I'll leave you with that.